Okay, here's the figured bass on that number 1 example. And what I did was take a piece of staff paper and I wrote down the bass line here. I'm going to add the numbers to it. Okay, now I've added the figured bass to the bass notes, like it is in example 1. This first chord here, we're in the key of F, so this is a 1 chord in the root position. So I'm going to put my Roman numeral 1 here. We got to remember that the way the chords work in a major key is the 1 chord is major, the 2 chord is a minor, the 3 chord is a minor, 4 chord is major, 5 chord is major, 6 is minor, 7 is diminished. It's got that little degree sign and back to 1. So this chord here is in first inversion because it has a 6. So if it's in first inversion, the root of the chord is going to be a third lower than this note right here. So it's going to be the F. So this is actually a 1 chord in first inversion. This is in first inversion also because it has the 6 down here. So we go a third lower than this note, and it's an E. So this is going to be, E is the 7th scale position, and it's going to be a diminished chord. And to notate the diminished, we use the small Roman numerals with a degree sign there. We're to an F, which is a 1 chord in root position. This one has a 6, so it's a first inversion chord. So we go a third lower and we find the scale degree of that, and that is a B flat, which is the 4 chord. So this is going to be a 4 chord in first inversion. And this is a 4 chord in root position, B flat. This is, we go a third lower because this is in first inversion, and that's a F chord in first inversion, which is the 1 chord. This note here is, so this is a G. So we go, that's going to be a 2 chord right there. This is A, which is going to be a 3 chord. B flat, which is a 4 chord. A C, which is a 5 chord. An A, we go in first inversion, so we go down a third, and that's a 1 chord. And here we have the B flat, which is a 4 chord. The C, and it's got a 7, so it's a C7. It's a 5/7. And then the F is a 1 chord. Okay, now that we've got our Roman numerals under there, and we know what kind of chords they are and what inversion they're in, and we have to figure out what the notes are that are in these chords. So they gave you that triad thing where they take like they split the F scale up into thirds. So like F, A, C, and then a third above that is E, and a third above that is G, a third above that in the key signature is B flat, a third above that is D, and then we're back to F again. So these are, if we have the 1 chord, which would be these 3, F, A, C, that's the notes that are in that chord, F, A, C. If we have, like this, the second one is, it's a 1 chord in first inversion. It still has these 3 notes in it, but it's going to be spelled A, C, F. And then the next next chord is a 7 diminished first inversion. So it's going to be E, G, B flat, but it's in first. So the notes in it are E, G, and B flat in the chord because it's one scale step lower than F. E, G, B flat, but it's in first inversion, so it's going to be G, B flat, and E. So there's the bottom note of it, then B flat, and then E. So this is the 7 chord in first inversion. That's why you have the G down here. And then so if we go through this first, I'm going to get a different sheet of paper here to write these down on. Okay, so our first chord is an F, A, C. Then the second chord in the progression is a first inversion 1 chord. So it's going to be A, C, F. And then the next chord is a 7, diminished 7 in first inversion. So it's going to be G, B flat, and E. Those are the notes in that chord. The next chord is a 1 chord, this one right here. F, A, C. The next chord is a 4 chord in first inversion. Now if I go back to the 4 chord is B flat, D, F. Because that's the 4th scale degree, B flat, D, and F. So, but it's in first inversion, so the bottom note's going to be D, F, B flat. So that's how we're going to voice it on here. The next one's a 4 chord in root position, this one right here. So it's B flat, D, F. Same notes, different inversion. Then the 1 chord in first inversion, right here. So we know the 1 chord has the F, A, C, and it's in first inversion, so it's going to be A, C, F. Now we go to the next measure, the 2 chord. The 2 chord in F major is G, B flat, and D. And it's in root position, so it's going to be G, B flat, and D. Our next chord is a 3 chord, and in that key it's A, C, E. Now 3 chord is a minor chord up here, so A, C, and E in root position. Our next chord's a 4 chord in root position, which is B flat, D, F. Next chord's a 5 in root position, so that's a C, E, G. 5 chord, C, E, G. Because C is the 5th scale degree, C, E, G. Then a 1 chord in first inversion because it's got that 6 there. So we know the 1 chord is F, A, C, so it's going to be A, C, F. Now down here to a 4 chord, B flat, D, F. And then a 5, 7 chord. Now we've added the 7 to it, so a 5 chord is C, E, G, and then the 7th is B flat because B flat's in our key signature here. Writing all the notes there. And then our final chord in this progression is an F chord, 1 chord, root position. So we're going to write the notes down there, F, A, C. So now we've, just by knowing the root, not the root, but the bass note here, and the figured bass, the numbers here that tells us what inversion it's in, we can start to realize this piece here. So we know that this is a 1, 1 in first inversion, a 7 in first inversion, a 1 root position, a 4 in first inversion, a 4 in root position, a 1 in first inversion, a 2 in root, 3 in root position, 4 in root position, 5 in root position, a 1 in first inversion, a 4 in root position, and a 5, 7 in root position, and a 1 in root position. And once you've done that, you can make your chart with all your chords here and the note names here. And now we're going to start plugging these in. It's just like kind of like putting a puzzle together here. So our first chord is going to be F, A, C. Now usually in part writing you want to double the root of the chord. So we're going to put another F up here. And we have to plug in a C and an A. So we're going to put the C up here and the A here. And when you're placing the notes in, you want to make sure they're within the vocal range of the the bass can sing that F easy, a tenor can sing an A easy, an alto can sing a F easy, and a soprano can sing that C real easy. There's other ways that we could have voiced this. We could have put a C in the tenor, and then we could have put a F and an A here. You probably wouldn't want to put the F on the soprano. You could if you wanted to. And then if you want that wide open spacing there, they call that open voice. There's whenever everything is spread out really high, like if we voice that chord like, I'm just going to do it over here. If you put that F and then an A and then a C and an F, that's called open voicing. Close voicing would be like the bass would be an F, and then a tenor would be A, alto would be C, and then the soprano would be down here like that. That would be called close voicing because it's all the notes are just piled on top of each other and there's no gaps in between. Here we've got a fifth between these, and we've got a sixth between these two, the tenor and the alto, and then we've got another sixth right here. Our next chord is a 1 chord, F, A, C, in first inversion. So right here, we could double the F right here, since that's and then we got to get another F and a C in there. This is going to be a little more challenging. You could put the C up here like that and then double the F with the tenor and the alto part here. Now we have all 3 notes in the chord. This is a little high for tenor, but they can, usually F is considered the high end of tenor. G up here would be considered the high end for soprano, so this would work right here. So we got all the notes in the chord here, A, F, F, C. Our next chord is a 7 chord, which is a diminished, and usually in part writing, they're almost always written in first inversion, a 7 diminished chord. Any diminished chord is written in first inversion. So our notes in this chord are going to be E, G, and B flat. So we could put the B flat up here. We've already got the G. Could put the E here. We have to get two E's in here somehow. So we could put that there and then double that same note with a tenor and alto. So this is a E, E, B flat, and G. The notes in this chord are E, G, and B flat. So we've got G, E, E, and B flat. So we've got all the notes in this. Now, on these inversions and these figured bass, okay, so I'm going to show you what this figured bass means. Get it here to where we don't have glare. Okay, down here we have if we have a 1 chord in first inversion, and it's marked like this, so that would be a 1 chord in first inversion. Actually, the chord is supposed to be a 6-3, but and most of the time they don't put the 3 on there. They just say a 1 with 6 on it, and it's implied that it's a 6-3 chord. So the way we add the notes to this is we go a sixth above, which gives us our root. Sixth above A is an F, and a third above that, which is a C. And this chord is an F-A-C chord, but it's in A-C-F, which is in first inversion. Now the second inversion uses a 6-4. So if we had a 1 chord in 6-4, that would be a C for the bass note, which is C is second inversion of a 1 chord. The root would be F, the first inversion would be A, and then the second inversion would be C. Then we count up 6 from there and 4. And that gives us the F chord, but we're not going to put it in this. We're going to change our voicing a little bit here and make it like this. So we're going to take this F, this A out right here. So we don't want to have 2 thirds in there. We just want to have that F, that A, and that C. We've been, some of the other things, the ones that have a 7 on it, like that, and our notes, a C down here, that's a 5-7. So the notes in a 5-7, that's okay, there we go, are C, E, G, and B flat. So the reason they put the 7 is because there's a note here, 7 notes above the root there. And that's the B flat. So we'll just put that B flat right there. And then our other 2 notes are E and G, so we'll put them right here. So that just goes through first inversion, second inversion, and 7th chords. That's what we have in this. I don't think we have any second inversions in this. Yesterday we went ahead and realized this whole first example. So you should have this written down.